Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Around the Creek podcast. As always, I'm Elijah.
I'm Aiden.
And I'm Owen.
Let's hop right in.
Okay. Can you die, please?
Alright.
Welcome to a new episode of Around the Creek where Owen keeps killing
threatens all of
mosquitoes.
us. Alright,
Yes.
Not just mosquitoes, it's just some mosquitoes.
Today we have a very musically themed episode for you today, as we will be talking about the episode.
Musical
Musical
statues.
Yep, musical statues. This is actually well, it's not new, but it's new to Disney Plus. Because like we said in the previous episode, we're going to be talking about the new episodes that are coming out on Disney Plus before we get back to the ones that we are doing in order, even though we're starting from the bottom and then going from the top. So it's yeah, it's not in order.
Wait.
But most of the episodes added to Disney Plus, the new ones, are very good. This one is also a good one, as always, because it's Bluey. It's like,
It's
It
Bluey.
it's Bluey, yeah.
There's a reason why it's one of the top rated shows of all time.
But yes,
Exactly.
this episode aired in Australia on June 13th, 2022. It is the 27th episode of season 3.
Was it 2022?
Yes,
It
was
took that long
long
to hit
ago.
Disney Plus.
Oh, wow.
So the
Holy
time of
Disney.
recording this, and I mean, I guess
It is
time of
currently
recording this, it came
is
out yesterday.
Oh, yeah, it did come out yesterday.
By the time this episode will be
There's-
live, it'll have been 2 days ago.
I'm sorry,
Three
there's
days
so many
ago.
mosquitoes in there.
He's still in
Oh
for
wait,
mosquito problem.
2 days ago. 2 days ago.
Yeah.
3 days ago when this podcast goes out. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, it's actually been like a year
It
because we're
has.
in June right now. Yeah, this
Mhm.
episode. Yeah, oh yeah. That's what you're saying.
Mhm.
Yeah, literally, this episode came out yesterday, a year ago. That's a really-
Exactly.
It's
yeah.
July. So a month.
Oh
from right now.
yeah, I meant that. I have a sense of time. I promise.
I do
Anyway.
not. So
It's been a long day. Work was very interesting today.
I spilled wine on
any-
myself.
Oh.
I didn't work.
Right. I was the only one who's unemployed.
Unemployed.
Welcome to our random rant episode where we are all too tired to kind of hold ourselves together. But we are
I'm never
going to
too
do our-
tired.
But yes, you are.
That's
we are going-
concerning.
But we are good. Yeah, that is concerning.
No, genuinely, I
going
am
to
never
do
too tired.
We are going to do our best today, right, boys?
Oh yeah, we always do our
Yeah.
best.
All right. So hopping right into it.
Humor
wants to
best,
lead
our
us
best
off
is
with
never
our-
enough.
Who wants to lead us off with our summary?
I could do so if no one else wants to.
You took the
Nobody
notes,
else
man.
wants
You go
You
ahead.
took-
I
You're the
did
note
take
taker.
the notes, except I didn't take okay, when I take notes, I only take jot notes because I can't write an entire sentence. I miss the whole episode then. Anyway,
No, that's fair.
so this episode is about the family coming home and everyone's like tired and well, except for Bingo. Bingo's very hyperactive as usual.
Typical
But Bluey is just like kind of like I don't know how you describe it.
Like being
she's-
a child, just like
Exactly, who doesn't want to do anything. And then
grouchy.
Blu- yeah. Chili's trying to figure out what to have for dinner, and she's like, "Oh, we can have meatballs." But Bluey's like, "I don't want meatballs." And this is so real to me as a picky eater. Like sometimes, like I love pasta. Absolutely love it. Love it to bits. I could eat it for the rest of my life, except sometimes I can't eat it for the rest of my life because sometimes I want a palate cleanser, you see. So pasta.
pasta.
What do you mean?
I was like, you said pasta.
Oh.
You said pasta. I'm like, who calls it pasta? What in Italy is going on?
What happened?
What is going on with your mic, man? What is going on with your
Did
mic?
you eat it? All right. So
Is it bad?
No, it's
no,
good. It's
it
good.
was
It's back
bad. It
now.
was bad. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Bluey wants something to eat, but she doesn't know what she wants, and she says like the most real line ever, and probably the most relatable thing in this entire episode. I don't know what I want, but I know I want something. That
Oh my god,
is
that line
me.
is so good.
It's
It's so true.
me. And I try and explain it, and I never can. It's like, I don't want to do anything today, but I want to do everything at the same time. It's like, this is me every day of my life because I'm not a productive person. And when I think I'm a productive person, I work on not productive things, and then I waste the entire day. And I'm like, oh, I'll do this thing later. Later never comes, and then the day is over.
Thing
So
is,
yeah,
for
this
me,
is
I try to be way too overproductive and organized, but for some reason, like,
Can't relate. Can't relate.
can't relate.
okay, so I'm productive. I'm not organized. But I constantly like try and like plan out my day, and like it'll constantly my brain will be replaying the same things over and over again. Like I'm constantly feeling, I don't know, I've been never able to put this feeling into words, but it's like, I guess not exactly like something I want, but something that I feel like it's something that feels like it's been unfinished, something that has not received
Yeah.
closure. And so
Yeah,
my
yeah,
brain
yeah.
kind of fixates on that thing, thinking, oh, I'm going to forget that, or oh, I'm going to like not do that. Like, okay, so here's a good example. A good example that can apply to this podcast very, very well. So I usually, I mean, we've already recorded like 4 podcasts at this point, but this podcast, the last podcast, I've worked beforehand. And so I'm always thinking like, oh, I got to like I got to be there in time for the podcast. And so I constantly like play online. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna walk home and then I'll shower first, or something like that. Like I'll shower or I'll watch just something. Like I replay like a series of events that I'm going to do leading up to that, so that like I won't forget it. And it's just like a constant. It's for everything. And it's like a constant feeling of something's not
Wow.
finished. There's not been closure, and that has
That
been
sounds horrible.
it. It. It.
Like,
I've kind of gotten used to it. I
often
don't remember
feel like-
life not feeling like that.
I often feel like I'm forgetting something, but that's just me being dumb.
For me,
I always feel
you
like
know
I'm
why this
forgetting
episode, you know
something.
why this episode overall is so good for me is that I cannot live in the present. I'm always thinking about the future.
No,
and so
yeah,
I
but
find it so hard to enjoy the present, and that's
Yeah.
just been a constant thing in my life for the past
Same.
couple of years.
Same.
You're going a bit too forward in the episode, though, my friend.
But we'll
So-
talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Anyhow,
Yeah,
getting
back to
on
the
track.
back
on
to the
track.
recap. Good rant, though. Good rant.
Not a rant, more just like a tangent.
There's a reference to actually the episode the hotels, one of the first episodes
Crazy
of Bluey.
Pillow.
Exactly. Can you play Crazy Pillow with me? And Bandit has to go on a run. So like, this is something I'm confused about because when we just watched it, right? I didn't see any long dogs, by the way. Did you guys just see any?
It's probably there.
I did not. It's really
It's
there,
probably
but
there.
I was more paying attention to the overall plot.
Oh, there is one on the fridge.
That's probably
Because
the
there's
one on the
always
fridge.
there's always one on the fridge. Anyway, I didn't see Bandit come in the door. Like when they came back home, did you see Bandit?
Because he wasn't out in the first place.
He
was
wasn't
at
out.
home.
That's why
He said he was sitting all
Oh,
day. He said
Yeah,
like he's been staying all
okay.
day, so he wants to go out and go for a run.
That's
Okay.
why. Yeah, that's why. English. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
But that was a nice reference, and
Yep.
I don't know why, but I just love it when like such real things happen in normal animations, like Bandit putting like I think it's like protein,
protein
shake.
powder
Yeah,
or
I don't know why,
whatever.
but I love that.
I
don't
really
care
like
about
that.
it.
I like that I could see inside because it's like one of those. Like,
Exactly.
That was great.
Yeah. But one thing leads to another where everyone's like just
Discombobulated.
like yeah. And Chili's like, that's it. We're playing musical statues. And
That comes
she
out of
even
nowhere.
points out
It's a
she
bit
even points
abrupt,
out
but yeah.
Bandit. She even points out to Bandit like, you'd stop too. you're also playing. And then the episode starts. And this is the third episode where
Really?
Chili says the title card, which is
Yep.
nice because she has a wonderful voice. Anyway, so they all go to the living room and they like start to get ready to play musical statues. Bandit is like in charge of the music because that's how musical statues works. You have to stop the music and everyone has to stop when the music stops, and you can't be moving when the music isn't playing. That's like the game. We always called it something else. I don't remember what we called it, but I know we didn't call it musical statues.
Freeze dance.
Freeze dance, yeah, but it's
Freeze dance, that was it. Freeze dance. You're
I'm gonna start calling
right.
musical statues from now on.
Because Australia is. Actually, I wanted to mention that. So when I was watching Blue for the first time ever, I was in a Discord call, like I've said before. This was actually like the third episode I ever watched. So when I saw them doing the intro card, I was like, "Oh, they're playing musical statues."
Yep.
Because I thought this was like one of the newer episodes, like maybe one of the first episodes, but like I was way off. And I didn't know that. So I was like, "Oh, that's a fun little detail." But I guess they knew that from day one? Like,
knew
how
that
did it
from
take
day
so long to get back to that? That's what I'm wondering.
No,
It's a great detail, though.
I was actually surprised that a lot of people didn't get that at the start. Like I was like,
Mhm.
oh, it's freeze dance. Oh,
Yeah.
It's a cool.
What
It's a
would have
fun
been
little.
cool? What would have been cool is if during the episode they were dancing the dances that they do in the intro. That
They
would
were
have been.
dancing behind a
Oh
blue
yeah.
street. If there's
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
blue screen behind them,
Yes,
with
a canon
Yeah.
event. Canon event.
Canon event. Another
That
thing
phrase is lost on
is...
me by this point.
Oh yeah.
The other thing is the lighting in this episode is like amazing.
Oh yeah, they did an amazing
It's one of my
job with the lighting.
favorites.
It makes me
like
sad, but I can't draw.
It
It-
feels like,
It looks like
8 p.m. or
it looks
something.
like
Authentic.
they upped the bloom and like the ambient lighting.
But it's so pretty. That's my favorite time
Really
of
nice.
day because it's the only time I can look at the sun without burning my retinas.
Makes me want to open up Blender again and make something.
Yeah. I know you mean the Blender, the software, but I was like,
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I know
Open up a
exactly what
Blender
you
and
mean as
make
well,
something.
but I'm thinking of a.
Because there's a lot of light stuff you can play with, and I wonder like how just how 2D animation translates like how similar 2D animation 3D animation, because with Bluey you can see like the
Not
light
bad.
effects are pretty.
Plain.
I wonder if there's like similarities. I'm not familiar with 2D animation, so
Yeah.
I would not
They
know.
they do rigging as well, and
Yeah.
I
Yes, they
don't
do, like,
think
bones.
that's lighting.
Like rigging.
No, but I don't
bones.
think
the
that's
lighting
lighting.
wise, lighting like isn't it just like all drawn in? Into
Yeah, that's what I'm.
It
That's what
might
I'm
be
saying.
drawn in, or it might be like rendered.
They have a bit of
gobos.
lighting.
It might be
They
rendered
probably
via
have a bit of
gobos.
like. Yeah.
Anyways, moving on again.
So a few things happen. Mostly leaning with dancing. I really like how Bandit is like a DJ, and like a super.
He's like a radio.
Yeah, he's like a
host.
radio host kind of thing. Which
He's
is
like that
super
kind of
fun.
guy that you hear out in the wasteland when you're playing Fallout.
Then near the end, Bandit gets back into the game after. Oh yeah, this entire time Bluey's like just not having it at all. She doesn't care. She
And then the
wants
cereal
to
song comes
do
on.
anything else. And then the I Love Cereal song comes on, and then she starts dancing. By the way, that is so undanceable. That's like
A lot of songs were
I was-
undanceable. It's true.
No, like most of the songs were not danceable.
Yeah.
They were good, but they weren't danceable.
Now
that
the
is
lollipop
true.
song.
Oh boy.
Oh goodness! Oh goodness, my voice.
We're not
Oh.
leaving that in because everyone want to leave.
Yeah, I might have to turn down the volume on that if nothing else.
Anyhow, yeah. Interesting song choices throughout this entire episode, I will say.
But the
by
dance
these
moves were
Hero House-
solid.
Dance moves. They were
Shake
a lot
it,
of fun.
Chili.
Yeah. This is just a personal thing for me, but I never like it in movies or real life. It's not as much in real life when people are dancing and they're like, "Yeah, woohoo, woo," like
No,
that
I
kind of stuff.
agree
It
with
just,
it. I
no, I
agree
don't
with
like
that.
it. I
I
don't
don't
like
like it
it at
either.
all. It's not, no.
I just like to dance.
Exactly. Ooh, there's also a reference to Dad Baby in this episode because
Is there?
actually they say it a couple of times throughout the episode, throughout Bluey, but it's like if you're gonna do something, do it properly, which was first said in Dad Baby, and that's what Bluey Bingo says to Bandit when he's like, "Oh, I don't want to dance," and it's like, "Well, if you're gonna do something, do it properly," and he's like, "Okay, well, put on some good music." And then he starts whipping out his moves and doing old fashioned like 80s.
Which he still
I
cannot
don't know
do.
what it's called. Yeah,
He
yeah,
cannot
he's
do.
really struggling. I think he says something about a mat or something.
Yeah,
I don't
rap
get the
mat.
reference, but I bet like parents would like that.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process, Chili is big brain and stops the music mid worms so that Bandit gets out, and then Bluey wins. And then they're like, "Wow, that was really fun. Let's keep playing." And it's like, "Oh, but who will be the dance DJ guy, like to stop the music?" And they're like, "Oh, we don't want to be." And it's like, "Is there a way we can play the game without doing it?" And then this is when the episode really becomes like this good of an episode.
So this is where the message of the episode really comes in, and one that I didn't get it first, but I've watched it like 3 times in the past 24 hours. So, or I guess, yeah, past 24 hours actually. Um, and so this episode, watch it around the second time, it started to make sense, like what the episode was about. Of course, kids aren't gonna pick up on it, but it's basically just live in the moment, enjoy what you have,
Yeah,
enjoy what you,
that's
and
so good.
I wish I could, I could live in the moment, but
Same.
I don't.
I
So,
literally can't. Like every day of my life, I think about the future. Not too far ahead in the future. Like, oh, what am I gonna do in 20 years and get a job? No, I don't care about that. I hate that in schools where it's like, oh, what do you think? What do you see yourself doing in 20 years?
that's
I
true.
can't answer it. I can't answer it. Like people are like, oh, they have like some rough ideas, like, oh, I'm gonna have a
Wherever life
job and a
takes
wife
them.
and blah blah blah. But it's like my hobbies, interests, and I like personalities change
Oh, so
monthly.
much, yes. Well,
So it's like
not
I have
monthly for me.
no idea what I'm gonna be into next year because like this year I learned I'm really into flags, Bluey, and
Sure.
like Legos. Like got back into Legos,
Let's go.
and it's always something to do with art. Which
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's probably like my most likely thing that I'll be doing in the future. It's art related,
Just
hopefully,
creativity. Yeah, and he can
or I'll
draw.
be
He can draw for sure.
yes,
I think I've posted some of the stuff on, like the Twitter and the Instagram.
if I'm allowed to say this, I'm working on this mega project. I
Oh,
call it the Sleepy Time Flipbook project. And this project's going to take over a year. I'm sharing all of my progress on my Instagram at Sleepy Time Flipbook. Uh, go check it out. But back to the episode. The message is just so good. It's like live in the moment, and it's like
mm-hmm.
the way Chili says it. I think Elijah knew where it was from. Can you remind me, Elijah?
It was not me, but I have it up in front of me. Oh wait,
Oh,
hold on,
okay.
hold
It
on,
was
hold on,
you.
hold on. I have it in front of me. It was inspired by English writer Alan Watts, who is listed in the credits under with thanks to the words of. So they credit her saying that it's from Alan Watts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't see
Mm-hmm.
that. I don't look at the credits too much because they
It's a
go
I
good
don't
too
message.
either.
fast.
It's a good message. For sure.
For like, but I do like how Bluey actually. This is a separate thing, but I do like how they actually give time to mention the credits
Literally, like
because in
every
most TV
million one.
shows, in every single children's shows, it goes and then it's like over. It's
No,
done.
you get
It's
to
gone.
Top 10 rappers
appreciate
Eminem was afraid to diss.
Mm-hmm.
we get to appreciate like all the credits. It's really
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
It takes some time, and there's also none of the child actors are listed there by Australian law, so
Oh
you
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
can,
that's just typical.
yeah. I don't
Uh,
think.
a-
There's a few of them that that like Republic, but
Okay. That's like decision of like the parents and families, right?
the parents and
Yeah.
them, yeah.
yeah. So at the ending of the episode, personally, I think it could have stopped there. Like, I don't think they needed to add the extra bit, but it did
It
give
did.
closure, which is nice.
Mhm.
It's like, well, what are we gonna have for dinner?
Cereal.
Cereal,
Yummy.
and then the episode ends. It's good. That's
It
poor
was a
parenting,
funny.
but
It's not poor
It's-
parenting.
I mean,
You can
depending on the
eat
type of
cereal.
cereal.
You can eat cereal for
true.
dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's
if you
not
you
like
can-
she's constantly just feeding her kids cereal for dinner.
Yeah. Listen, we all have
to all
those
our
da- we all
listeners,
have
you
those
cannot eat cereal for dinner.
You can. Listen, we all have those days where we just don't know what to eat for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes cereal is just the best option.
Yep.
Or sometimes
whoa,
just
wait.
breakfast for dinner is the best option.
Hold
Mhm.
on. Wait a second. Do you guys make your own dinners?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Most of the time, my mom makes food.
My mom,
but
yes, same here. My mom
like
usually does.
back last week when I was editing the video, I came back from like what was it, like a 6-hour or something shift at work, and
Mhm.
I forgot about dinner. And so I just didn't eat dinner at all because I was busy recording the podcast and editing it. So I just
Oh,
went
yeah,
in the
you guys
freezer
have
and grabbed some breakfast burritos.
Yeah, we do have jobs.
Yeah. That's
We're
probably a big factor.
just sometimes like my mom's a busy person. I have a lot of siblings, so she's busy with
Mhm.
that. So I don't blame her. But yeah, I just grabbed some breakfast burritos or grabbed some popcorn. I'm like, I'm ready to edit this thing, and yeah, just power through.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
Nice.
me in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm fine with that because this is what peaking at life looks like. I tweeted about this before, but this is what peaking at life looks like. But yeah, I think the overall message for this episode is good. It's confusing, as I said before. It is a bit confusing, but once you think about it a little bit and read into it a little bit more, it makes sense.
I think it's probably one of the best Bluey messages in the whole series. Like, not
Mhm.
obviously there's some amazing episodes that have great messages behind them, but they're
Mhm.
quite like kind of basic at premises,
a little
like
bit, yeah,
kind of basic lessons.
but still
like,
impactful ones. But there are
Oh yeah,
there are
no,
basic, yes,
totally. But this one's different. I think
This
this
one's
one's
more
one of the
specific.
best. Yes,
It's not
and
as
it's like
generalized.
so true, and
Mhm.
so many people like me, I wouldn't say suffer with it, but have problems with living in the moment, and it ruins my life.
I think you're happiest when you are living in the moment.
I actually have a great example of that today.
Go ahead.
I was playing hockey. And
You can't post that.
huh?
Sorry.
All right. So just for context for the podcast, I'm not gonna be able to let this out because I want to have it just tied together. But throughout this episode, Elijah has been posting stuff in the chat. I don't know how much I'm leaving in or how much I'm taking out, but some of this stuff has had us dying laughing. So you're gonna know about this if I do decide to leave it in. If I decide to take it out, you're not gonna know. But we several times, several occasions, Elijah has just posted stuff, and it's just having us dying. This is
He does it every episode.
I
We just have
do.
to
he
hold
does,
in.
yes, every episode.
It helps me think.
It
How?
helps you think.
How does phone guy singing "Hi, Toxic Gossip Trade AI cover" help you?
I'm gonna listen to this later. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I can relate to this because at work we were doing a little like hockey game. And I was enjoying myself a lot, and I felt like I didn't I had nothing else on my mind. It was just enjoying myself and like just living and having fun.
Mm-hmm. And
That
I
is
think
the best.
that
That doesn't happen to me often, and when it does, it's like you can feel it when it's happening, and you're like, "Wow, I'm not thinking about anything." Like even when you try and think about
Not
other
even
things,
because with
can't.
me, I feel like I don't even acknowledge that it's happening, and like I have to reflect back to acknowledge that. Wow, I was literally like living in the moment and having a blast.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great.
I think my best work days, my best days of work is when my day is
Work.
empty. No. I love work. I'm
I
a working
absolutely love
man.
work.
Okay, there he goes again. There Elijah goes again.
That's not me. That's not me.
Oh, never mind. That's Owen this time. But there is what was I talking about? Okay, so I think my happiest days, like at work when I'm working, is when I'm not worried about what's happening afterwards. Like I'm not worried, like
Oh yeah.
recording a podcast or finishing this project. Because I had a right before I left on a little trip I did, or a little road trip with my family. I had a commission I was working for an old friend. Just some 3D modeling stuff. It wasn't anything crazy or anything like that. But I wanted to get it done. And so that was kind of like something I was fixated on. And so usually I have a hard time focusing on other things that are Im- I mean, just living in the moment again. Like I
Yeah.
fixate on things that don't matter. I'm not Owen. I'm not
Oh my god.
um I just have a hard time like paying because when I am focused on the task at hand, when I'm focused on the thing that I'm doing at the moment, there's things I want to enjoy. My brain will not leave those other things that don't matter.
Mhm.
I want to live
No,
in the
it's
moment
like
doing the thing that does matter. But every single day, and I've talked about this with one of my other friends, every single day, I'm focusing on things that don't matter. I feel like there are thoughts left unclosed. I feel like it feels like constantly forgetting something, constantly feeling like there's something that you need to do. And you can't focus on the here and now because you're lost in your thoughts. And it's been like that for a couple of years now. And as much as I try, it doesn't like go away.
no, this is why this episode like is means anything to me at all because
Mm-hmm.
so this will be apparent throughout the podcast, but like my parents, they go out like for jobs and stuff because their parents, they have to do their monies and
Parenting
stuff.
stuff, yeah.
I get
So,
I can't like function properly unless I know they're okay 24 like the entire time they're out. Like I can't like I would go to do a task and if I didn't get a phone call back or something, then I would think, "Oh, they're dead."
Mm-hmm.
Like this is literally my life and I hate it and I've been trying to get over it but I can't and society is not helping either because like they showed us videos of people getting into car crash and it was like you don't think it could happen to you but it could happen to anyone, it could be you. It's like that's not helpful. That makes me not want to go on the road ever. That makes me not want to
Mm-hmm.
leave my house.
There's
Like,
probably gonna be a story I'm gonna tell in the future that
is there not a better way to
definitely.
do that? Like that's a mandatory thing in driving tests.
Oh yeah, I mean, but
Getting desensitized. That's not okay.
it's not desensitized. Becoming aware.
I'm very aware.
I am very aware as well. I'm probably gonna talk about this in another episode. Never mind. But
Oh,
I have seen some accidents firsthand. I've been in some accidents firsthand. None of the ones that I have personally been in have been that bad. Usually it's just little fender
holy.
benders. But I am aware, like, you got to be careful when driving, especially like, okay, do not drunk drive. That is a terrible idea. That is just
Yeah.
rule
Yeah.
number one. Do not drunk drive, and that is for a good reason. I almost crashed my dad's car, and that's me being sober.
so I did something where I went out because I'm a part of a program with my local police department, and it was like a teen safe driving seminar organized by like a few different law enforcement agencies, and they had drunk goggles, which and they set up a little obstacle course with these pedal go-kart type things, and it was not a pleasant experience.
I did that too. It feels like you know how in video games like there's like an FOV slider. It kind of felt like that. Like your field of vision was widened.
They also made us
Yeah.
like pour water
Oh.
to a cup and pick up pens.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to walk in a straight line but heel to toe. So I had to like
I did that as well.
I could not do that part. I could not. My feet were not, my eyes were deceived. My
Mhm.
eyes were being deceived.
Yeah,
yeah.
I did like a similar obstacle course as well. I did pretty good on it, but it definitely like kind of messes with like your field of vision, and so it kind of makes you miss. Like it makes things
It
seem
like
farther closer away than they
makes
are.
it makes like miss inputs almost, and you're like because
Mhm.
you think you're seeing something and you're not actually.
Yes, exactly.
But anyways, I
Yeah.
think our rants are getting a bit far
Yeah,
out
don't
there.
dunk drive. That's the main
Yeah.
message.
Don't drink drive.
Don't drunk drive.
So
Don't
with all
drunk
this
drive.
being, oh okay.
So,
Hold on.
is there anything you want to say like how the
I've done all my notes. I think I mentioned the fact that the lighting's good and
Yeah,
the
I think we've
message is
mentioned
good.
hit it all.
Yeah.
I
So
do
is
want to
that-
say
Oh my
It's
god.
like not
before
it's not
you
like
do the
every
outro,
yeah.
I do want to say our first bonus episode will be this Wednesday. We're going to be talking about the show
Please.
Happy Place, which is
Happy
kind of
Place.
spinning
Yeah.
off of
Not spin-off. Yeah,
not
kinda.
not spin-off, not
The Ludo
spin-off.
team.
Uh,
Same. It's Ludo team.
It's an animator
Well,
from
it's actually
the
not
Ludo
by
team.
the Ludo team.
It's not by Ludo. It's
has a
by
lot of the
Fred
people who
Films.
still work
But
with
it's
Ludo.
being but one of the animators from Ludo is making their show kind of similar to Bluey, which
Chris Bennett.
is Chris
Sound
Bennett.
design.
Yes.
Also, if you looked at the guy who's the sound design,
Yes,
Mhm.
I did see
Joe
that.
Brum?
Yeah.
Dan Brum.
Or Dan
Brum.
Brum, not Joe Brum. I'm sorry.
I actually had a chance to talk with him the other day.
Yes.
What?
Yes, he,
Yeah,
you not read the Discord? Yeah, so we're gonna be talking down on the bonus episode Wednesday. Do not miss it. Because I have a lot of notes about that, and
Yeah, me
I
too.
have some strong feelings about that.
I have some very strong opinions.
You always have strong opinions.
And
Very-
we'll get to
very-
that.
We'll get to that. But would
with
you like
all
to
this
close out,
being-
Elijah? Oh, you're
Yeah,
already
but-
doing it.
I do
But-
want to mention just one more
Oh my-
thing. Just
Go
one
on,
more.
go
Just
on,
one more
go
thing. Not every. This is. I don't know how long this episode has been. It doesn't feel like it's been very long, and that's okay because some episodes are not as.
Anyways, with this being said, I'm getting gone.
Not every episode is as infident. I can't speak.
It's as in depth as some other
Yeah.
episodes are.
Like,
Yeah.
not every episode has to be an hour long.
Like
There are
this
some episodes where
this
it's like-
episode was like kind of us just talking.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
Some
And
episodes
like
will be like
last
that.
last episode was more of like a deep analysis.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends, like episodes from episode. Like, is there a lot to go over? Because musical statues, there's
Great
there's a
episode.
good meaning overall, but that's
But
like
there's
the main
not
thing
a
to
lot
talk
of
about.
big, like deep
Mhm.
dive into.
Like, I skipped a lot of it in my recap because I don't want to ruin
Mhm.
the episode for people who watch it because I'm basically getting the main points down. It's
Yeah.
like an episode.
I
They're
know.
interacting with each other, but I'm listing off the major events.
Episodes like space, episodes like camping, sleepy time will probably be like
that'll be very
sleepy
long.
time
I
will be
can't
fun.
wait for the
Space is going to be
Sleepy Time is
putting
going to be
so
a
much effort into space.
3-hour long episode.
There are gonna
Okay.
be some
I'm saying it
episodes
now.
that
I'm
are gonna be
saying it
pretty
now.
long. It probably will be. No, he's right because there's a lot to talk about with
There's
Sleepy
a lot
Time.
to talk
Because
about.
not just the overall meaning, but every single scene has significance and
Every
depth.
frame.
And
True. This is
he's doing the frame by frame flip book, but like
Yeah,
every single part of that episode is something that we can go into other tangents about. So episode to episode, it's going to be different like lengths. Like we could be talking for 20 minutes, we could be talking for 2 hours. It just depends on the episode and the content we're talking about. So especially tangents will come to a big part of that. Like we didn't have a lot to talk about in the way of like this episode specifically, other than like the ending, and so it's more just like opening up on our personal experiences. So yeah, Elijah, you can wrap up. Finally.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyways, with all that being said, as always, I'm Elijah.
I'm Aiden.
And I'm Owen.
This is your
and this is the Around the Creek podcast.
there we go. See you in
Yep.
the next one.
Bye.